It's a Monday and it's beautiful. It's been very wonderful the last few days. We've been dealing with cooler weather, which makes me happy. That's a good thing for fires. Nice breeze and the cooler weather actually helps the firefighters be able to take control of all the fires that are going around California. So I've been really happy with that. But I'm over here at Green Acres and I'm gonna just share some things, some random things with you folks, and tell you a few things too, and why I love citrus. Because number one, they're evergreen. Number two, they're considered perennials. And number three, well, once you get them understood, you know, you can grow them easily. But I'm gonna share some other things with you. So let me take you through Green Acres and the area that I like to roll and so forth. And I gotta grab me one of these carts. Let me grab a cart first. There's one right there. First place I want to hit is this beautiful citrus. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love citrus. You know, how can you not? And this one's being grown in the ground here. Looks really nice and healthy. Very beautiful tree. Got one right here next to this what is this one's called? This is called the can't even think. I don't know why my mind is so blocked this morning, but you know, your perennial herbs. This is important because you got tons of bees up in here, and whenever things blooms, whether it be the citrus trees, the flowers, the bees have access to quick nectar. Okay, here's some lemons here, and they've created a hedge, you know, and whatnot. Here's the fig. Of course, all of the figs are gone. They ripen on this tree. Every time I've come here, I've eaten them. Once again, leaves are left, and I hope that if you got a fig in your home gardening, that you make use of the leaves. But this is what gets me here. These gorgeous pomegranates, or pomegranates. Isn't that gorgeous? It just gives you so much hope when you see trees that are so healthy and you know exactly what yours are going to look like at some point. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? Look at that. Makes me want to take that off. Gorgeous, ain't it? So they have these semi-bearish limes here, and these are the much larger ones here. I'm considering. I remember on the rooftop terrace, I used to have a gold nugget and the semi-dwarf, but I had the dwarf variety, the Mandarin Shasta Gold. Very good orange, similar to that of the Owari Satsuma in look. The taste is similar, but a lot sweeter and whatnot. And of course the Tangelo Melealo, you can never go wrong with these. These are some of the most prolific mandarins that you could ever have in your garden. So this is a Melealo Tangelo, and they're absolutely delicious. These are some nice trees here. This is what I always suggest to people to purchase when they want to grow citrus. This is one of the citruses I always suggest people grow. Here it is right here, the Tangelo Melealo Ola. It's a good one. Beautiful trees. You see, when it comes to oranges, I'm not a big fan of the Washington novels, but I love the Caracara. I have a tiny Caracara. They don't have any large ones here, but I'm not done looking around. They just starting to get more of their citrus in for this season. So if I can find a large Caracara, yes, I will purchase it right away. The honey mandarin is also another delicious, absolutely delicious piece of fruit. And again, this particular one also has similar outside as the Owari Satsuma. Very easy to peel, but extremely sugary, extremely sweet. I love this one, and so it's possibly on my list today to bring into my garden. I have 15 citrus trees right now, and I'm adding more. And I had someone at one point ask me, why did I sell my trees and why did I sell them for so much when they can get them cheaper? Let me share something with you. The trees I purchased are already $125. On top of that, they're in 40-gallon containers, which I provide. The soil amendments and my special mix that I place into the containers. They're under my care and observation, and they're labor intensive to get the tree developed and established to where it needs to be for possible sale. If you add all that up without my labor, well, you're looking at about $250. So selling my trees for $350 in 40-gallon containers, that's not a lot. I'm actually underselling myself. It's why my price has gone up. And so now I sell my trees at $450 to $550. And guess what? People bought more this year than they bought ever in my entire selling of citrus trees. Because that's primarily what I sell. I purchased a tree, I put it together, and I'm basically stopping the customer from having to figure it out on their own. Once I'm selling those trees, that customer don't have to do nothing to that tree for the first year except for to liquid feed it, because I've already given it a granule feed that'll be in the container for about 3 to 4 months. Liquid feed, that's it. Now, what are some of the popular trees? Owari Satsuma. You have the clementine mandarin, the honey mandarin, the caracara orange, the Nagami kumquat, and Owari Satsuma. Did I mention that already? These are the most popular trees that I sell, and they sell. So I've been waiting on them to get these in Green Acres because I'm picking up. That's why I got this big basket right here. You see that bed? And then I'm going to have to get a second bed because I'm picking up a total of 15 trees today. Maybe 20 if I can find what I'm looking for. Because now people are asking me for key lime mandarins. And so I can do that. And so they do have some large berries, limes. Here, I'm probably going to be grabbing one of these and 2 of the key limes that I just spotted. The reason I like these, and a lot of people have a misconception that all limes stay green. No, they don't. When it comes to limes, in California, because of our mild climate, these will turn yellow later in the season. But if they're in a tropical climate, they stay green. So you need to learn that so you don't get confused why your lemon's not turning green or why they're staying green and not turning yellow. That's just the nature of this tree. So I've got to pick me one out. I'll be right back. So I'm going to show you folks something. When you're picking your citrus trees, or any tree for that matter, there's some things you need to check for. Let's go for it. Making sure that the tree is not pot bound. If it's pot bound, the tree is going to struggle to adapt in this new climate. But I can show you how to do that on my channel. The other thing you want to look for is there any leaf miner, any bug infestation? You want to look for that throughout these trees. Now, these trees in California are going to come with a tag like this. And this tag is letting you know of the Asian citrus silent. That's a horrible disease, and if your citrus tree gets it, there is no cure. So that's why it tells you this plant shall not be moved out of the Asian citrus silent nursery region, quarantine zone 2. So this is why our trees are very well taken care of here in California. But here's the thing. You see this lead trunk here? Always follow it up. You follow it up for a reason. Why? See right here? This is damage to the lead trunk. If you were to take this tree home, this tree will have a problem growing continually. Luckily and thankfully, it grew another side shoot here, which will continue on as the lead. But what happens if you find that this has broken completely off? This tree is not going to get any taller. So if you're looking for your tree to get taller, don't just buy the tree and say, well, it's still good. No, there's an issue here. So look for another tree. And while I go through and inspect, I'm looking for things like this one is leaning over. I want to know that when it was leaning over, it was being mishandled. And so the roots may be very, very loose here. Do I want this type of tree? No. And so I'm going through here, checking all of the trees. This is not a bad tree here. It's got a nice solid base here. And it's not bad at all. I think these are semi-dwarfs. Okay, they may be standards. I could be wrong. Let me check. Yes, semi-dwarfs. So you can put these in containers. They're great for containers, the dwarf varieties and the semi-dwarfs. So that one's not bad. It's slightly leaning, but what I'm looking for is a fullness in the middle area. You can always be full up here and get a lot of new growth, but I want to make sure it hasn't lost leaves under stressful conditions right in this area. And this one has had some problems here. Over here, this one is not bad. It's already recovered and put out plenty of leaves. In fact, a lot of new growth throughout the tree. But I'm still concerned with here. Why am I concerned? Quite simple. Because when it comes to citrus trees, the foliage on the lower part of the tree is very important. So again, the foliage on the trees, on the lower part of the citrus trees, are very important. So when people are pruning the foliage on the lower part, they're doing an injustice to the tree. The foliage on the lower part of the tree is meant to protect it from sunburn, protect the trunk from sunburn. A lot of people I see are buying the IV organics. That's not necessary. If you really wanted to protect your tree, all you got to do is go to your local big box stores and buy you some white water paint. Water-based paint, white. Put that on your trunk of your tree and save you a ton of money, because a gallon of paint will last you pretty much a lifetime if you keep it preserved well. Otherwise, you can just simply buy a pint, and that'll last you a long time too. So I've looked at my trees here, and out of all these trees, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's a few over there. Out of all the trees, the one in front here is not a bad tree. Here's the front shot if you're going to plant it in a container. So always set your tree up to see what's the best shot to put it in your container, so it's facing whatever way you want people to look at it and yourself. But the tree I found that's really good, and I'm going to give it a double check, is this one right here. Look at how it's filled out in here. It's got nice foliage, and I'm not worried about breakage here because that's part of the pruning process, and it's already shot out another branch. I'm looking at the trunk. Everything is pretty good. You see they trimmed here and it shot out these branches. And so I want to make sure, get rid of these dead leaves so I can get a better look at it. This is the main stem here, and everything is looking good. They did the right thing. See, here's the main trunk here, and it came all the way up to here, and then you can see where they clipped. It's okay to clip it because, see, the tree is going to continue to shoot out more branches, thus giving it more height. So this is a smart move. Is at a 45-degree angle. Okay, not a 35, not a 90 degree, not downward, but upward, so that, you know, and typically you don't want it as up like this, because the goal here is making sure water doesn't get in here and cause disease. That's what people don't understand. So you want your angle to be, you know, sort of angled a little bit different. I'll show you that this coming winter. But the tree is absolutely gorgeous. It's going home with me. I'm gonna go ahead and load it up right now. Now here's a Mexican lime, a key lime here. You know, the limes that are normally used for margaritas. However, you got to be very careful with this lime because it doesn't like cold. And so the best thing you can do, since it's a semi-dwarf and you're growing in containers, wrap it with a frost blanket and you'll be okay. And keep it towards the southern wall if you're in a mild climate. But it's a beautiful tree. Absolutely sets well. You can see there's some blooms coming in here. And some little limes that are forming. So it's a beautiful tree. I'm considering this tree because I love limes and I love mixing them in my hot homemade drinks, you know. And I ain't talking about no liquor. I'm talking about healthy, hot, turmeric lime drinks. But I'll share more of that with you folks at another time. So I'm gonna take another stroll down to the end where the citruses are. Then I'll come back up and do another round because I got one tree and 11 to go, or possibly with the exception of another 5, maybe 16 to go. If I don't get what I get today, then I'll come back, but we'll see. A lot of folks have been asking me why I don't grow avocado anymore. It's not that I don't grow them anymore, I just haven't gotten around to them, to be honest with you. Now that I got those 40-gallon type containers, avocados will do well in those. Here's their many varieties of avocados. Look over there. They got over 15 varieties and they're absolutely gorgeous. They didn't look so good 2 months ago, but they got some in. You know, one of the things that I've always seen happen in the nursery industry is they'll jack prices up right before your eyes, and a lot of people don't notice it. When I started my garden venture 8 years ago, before I even got, well, it was actually 11 years ago before I got on YouTube, but 8 years since I've been on YouTube, I'm going to show you the price gouging that is going on at most nurseries, especially in this time and in this environment in our country today. These are Nagami kumquats. They were one of the cheapest citrus you can possibly purchase. This is the standard variety. This is a semi-dwarf variety. Okay, then you had a dwarf variety. Now I want you to look at the semi-dwarf at $75 in a 7-gallon. The 15-gallon is $125. Now, when I started my venture a long time ago, the semi-dwarf here was $45. The standard was $55. We're talking about 2.5 times the price. We're talking about 1.5 times the price. The dwarfs was between 18 and 22 bucks. The price gouging is astounding. It's amazing what they'll do. But my goal is to build a food forest in a suburban home for my children's children, my children's too, but then propagate from that, do some air layering, and that's the key. Well, they just got a shipment in, and in this shipment there's 3 different varieties of the trees that they're going to bring over to me, or let me come over there. They normally off right over there and put them down that little ravine. You can't see it, but that area right there, it's got a slope downward, and they store them all until they make room for them out here. But yeah, right now only got this guy. They'll bring me more, and I'm probably going to end the video right now because I'll show you as I plant them at home, and they're all going in containers. Why? Only 2 of them are for keeps, the rest are for sale. So gotta go. Take care, and I hope you folks have enjoyed much of the information that was provided in this video. Otherwise, you take care. I know it's a long video, but this is what happens when you get to a nursery. But just know that if you watch very little of this video, you're not going to get the information that you need. Take care. I took the time to do it. Please take the time to watch it. That's fair, right? Take care, folks.